Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends.
What was that?
What?
New intro. All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
And on this, welcome back, Dave.
Thank you.
Missed
Good
your
to be
last
back.
episode.
Yeah.
This time around, we're going to talk about the secret, underground, joint human and alien base called Dulce Base. Things might get crazy. Mm-hmm. And as always, we got some listener feedback to get to. And we have a couple of listener stories, so it should be an excellent, fun time. Anybody have anything to bring up before we get rolling?
I had a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And so did Dave.
Yeah. There was two of them.
Happy
There's a rumor
birthday,
about
Dave.
that.
Yeah. Well, because you're reptilian overlord, it only happens, once every 7 years or...
Like a dog?
Yeah.
something like that,
Something,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how reptiles age. I don't know if there's a different calendar for that.
Yeah. Awesomely.
Okay.
So now you're calling Dave a reptilian overlord?
We already knew that. That's where he went on vacation to.
No, I'm the king of the reptile.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Right.
If you're a new listener, whenever Dave can't make the show, we joke that he's went back to the Hollow Earth.
Why do we joke about that?
Maybe it's not a joke.
Right.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
One other quick thing. So the reason I missed last episode is I was visiting Poland for work. But while I was there, one of my coworkers in Poland, he actually lives in the Czech Republic, and I was asking him about, as we said, Huska Castle, and he had absolutely no idea what I was talking about until we realized that we're saying it wrong, and it's actually Huska Castle.
Huska?
So, I'm probably still butchering that, but it's nice to know that one of my favorite topics in the world, I'm closer than before to saying correctly.
Right.
Yeah, no, literally, since you went to Poland, that is the closest you are going to ever be to
Yeah.
Huska?
Castle.
Huska.
Huska.
Huska?
Yeah.
Huska.
Huska.
Too bad you didn't have time in
I
your
know.
schedule over there to
I definitely
go check
wanted
it
to
out.
the. I was looking where I was at. I was on the southwestern corner of Poland. It would have been a fairly quick flight to over to Prague, and then an hour and a half drive up. The problem was that the flight times were like I could have taken off at like 10:30 in the morning, landed about 1 hour and a half drive up, and then the plane back was at 5 in the afternoon. So I would have like had half an hour at the castle and turned around.
Like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm go.
Otherwise, it was like a 5.5 hour drive, which that's not really a day trip either. So
No.
Right.
That stinks.
Huska.
Huska.
Huska? Like Husqvarna?
I don't know.
we were putting too much U in it. It's more O. So Huska.
Huska.
Huska?
Huska.
Huska.
That is hilarious that he had no idea what you're talking about. Only
Yep.
because we say Huska,
Yep.
but it's Huska.
Yep.
I guarantee we mispronounce practically everything.
Yeah.
Every
Probably.
single thing.
I'm surprised that, maybe we're right. Dulce? I
I think it's Dulce.
I think it's dulce de leche.
No.
think it's definitely not Dolce.
Dulce de leche? The caramel?
Dulce Base. Which, in Spanish is sweet.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. First off, we're going to kick it off with some listener feedback brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series on Amazon that drops the 15th of every month. Get yourself a taste of that awesome reading. Lish, as you say,
It's good.
Sorry, you just say get yourself a taste of that.
well, I was trying something different. Living Among Bigfoot, the tastiest book about Bigfoot.
See?
We're going to start off listener feedback with a correction.
Yes.
This is my bad. So we had some Twitter back and forth with some people about the Mothman and Sheep Squatch. And I referred to the guy as Doofus. His handle on Twitter is at Duffus, Duffus monkey. And I was saying Doofus monkey.
Who's the doofus now, Mark?
Yeah. Duffus monkey, I'm sorry. But I would like you guys to know they waited literally to the end of the show, and we said, all right, if it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. I hit the button, and they were like, by the way, you could have corrected me on air rather than let me just go on.
Saying it wrong the whole episode.
So, at Duffus Monkey, my bad. We heard from Ben Drowned on Twitter, at @real_Ben Drowned. But this is in response to our Sheep Man, the Sheep Squatch episode.
Yes, a Sheep Squatch.
Must be Sheep Man. Go cut his wool, and he will be Naked Man. All right, Ben, thanks. But you're right. But in the episode, we did talk about the one Sheep Squatch that showed up randomly for no reason with shaved legs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sun's out, buns out.
Sky's out, thighs out.
Oh, nice. I like that. Nice.
No, I said
Nice.
that in the last episode. Do you not
Did you?
remember?
I just remember the sun's out, buns out. I've been living by that ever since.
Yeah.
All right. Steer clear. We heard from the country nerd saying, and this is again in reference to Sheep Squatch. So just throwing this out there, but how many of these Sheep Squatch sightings were around those West Virginia moonshine stills?
Yep.
Good question. Good question. If there's shine around, my gosh, probably a zillion of them, but they were too wasted to even remember that it happened.
Well, they were also eating mushrooms, right? Wasn't the
One guy saw the Sheep Squatch after he...
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah,
So
and
who
that's why I
knows?
was like, yeah, you definitely might see Sheep Squatch if you're
You can see all kinds of stuff.
eating some magic mushrooms.
Yep.
You see grays, you'll see...
You see everything.
Lizard man.
Yeah,
you'll see it
yeah.
all.
You see unicorns flying around.
Thanks, the country nerd saying. He even had another post about new Paranormal Punchers episode, Gonna Be a Good Day.
Yep.
So thanks, dude. Glad you listened. Glad you enjoy it. We heard from Elijah, and he says, hey, guys, I got a topic idea for you. The Albert Ostman story. He was supposedly kidnapped by Bigfoot in the 1920s and held captive for 6 days.
What?
But anyways, I've been listening for about 2 weeks, and I already listened to every episode.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
Best
Gosh.
podcast ever.
Right on.
And remember, if it's not weird, it's not worth checking out.
Aw.
Thanks, Elijah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Some dude was captured by Bigfoot.
All the episodes in 2 weeks. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is.
No,
Must have been on medical leave or something like
now
that.
when I read this, I've never heard of this, and I'm super intrigued.
Yeah.
And I didn't look up anything about him yet, but I really do want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put. Well, obviously this goes on the list, but I'm
yeah.
really curious. Like, what would getting kidnapped by Bigfoot for 6 days? What happened?
What would that be
What
like?
would happen?
Yeah.
How would you eat? Is it all berries, nuts and berries and stuff? Or is he catching fish? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Whatever Bigfoot lets you eat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to check for ticks after that? I don't know.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, be wise, I think.
Does Bigfoot have Lyme disease?
Maybe. Who knows?
Is that what makes him blurry?
Right? Oh.
I don't know. We heard from Indiana Johnny. Hey, guys. Don't laugh, dude. That's just how I read it.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, it's Indiana Johnny. I was listening to the Sheep Squatch episode and found myself wanting to shout through the podcast to you.
Uh-oh.
At one point, you were talking about a theory about aliens flying around with a zoo of creatures from other planets and dropping some of them on Earth to see how we would react. Mm-hmm. I was wanting to shout because you were missing out on the opportunity of a great movie reference. As soon as you mentioned the zoo of creatures in the alien ship, my mind automatically went to Disney's classic, the 80s movie, Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, yeah.
Where the boy is picked up by a spaceship that is flying from planet to planet, picking up creatures from each one to study. I kept hoping that someone would mention that movie during the whole conversation. Keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to whatever you have for us in the next episode. Have you guys seen Flight of the Navigator?
Oh, yeah. I love
Yes.
that movie.
Yeah, I never. I think
Didn't even
I
think
think
about
I-
it, yeah.
I think I saw that
Great design of his ship.
I just can't remember.
Wonderful design for the ship.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Dave?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, like, the reason nobody brought it up is because Dave wasn't here.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but all the creatures that were in that ship, they were like small, like gerbil size, or like
Yeah, they weren't very big.
they were
on
small,
the
like
smaller
a small
side.
aquarium size
Yeah.
creatures, not like camels or humans, or
Right.
more like what you find in the collector in Infinity War. You know, the guy, the
Guardians of the
Benicio-
Galaxy?
Yeah. The Benicio del Toro, who had like the giant cages with the dog and the also.
Right.
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
that. It was more like fish aquarium size.
I like how the first thing you say is camel.
Wow, it's an odd looking creature.
Okay.
He spits.
It is, right? What if that is something that was dropped off?
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want this one. You can have it.
He's the only creature, he and she are the only creatures in the whole wide world. Well, no, I guess humpbacks that hump just all the time.
What?
They, without doing anything, they have humps.
Oh my God.
That's what they do.
Well, Indiana Johnny has some more to say, so we're going to move on from that. P.S. I finally got around to ordering a copy of your comic book and look forward to reading it. I know it showed up. He shot me a image of it. Johnny, I'm sorry it took so long. The USPS told me it would be there like on a Monday.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture that it finally arrived like on a Saturday. I'm like,
Oh, no.
well,
Sorry
they
about
were
that.
really wrong
Yeah.
on how long it would take. But I'm glad you got it. I hope you really dig it. And absolutely let us know what you think.
Yeah.
But Johnny is not done.
Nope.
He needs to correct something here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, by the way, I caught a mistake in last week's episode. You called the creature from Star Wars a wampus.
Yeah.
The Star Wars creature is a wampa. A wampus is a large cat cryptid found in Appalachia that has 6 legs and magical powers. It is also the symbol creature of one of the houses in the American version of Hogwarts called Livermorny, which was made up by J.K. Rowling. They have Pukwudgie. They have the Pukwudgie House, Wampus House, Thunderbird House, and Horned Serpent House.
I'm thinking I might have read that as they were wampas, plural of the wampa.
Oh.
And read that as one word, W-A-M-P-A-S,
Yeah.
as in
But
a wampa.
you said Wampus.
Yes, correct.
That's not plural of a Wampa.
But what is plural of a wampa?
He's saying
Wampass?
he's saying he read it as Wampas
Oh.
and said it as Wampas.
That's what I'm saying. Is what is the plural? It's like cactus. What is it? It's cacti. So it might be plural is different.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I read it
Wampi.
as the creature was one of the
Yeah.
wampa plurals and not wampus. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's
all good.
Without that mistake, we wouldn't have learned
That's
about
true.
No.
the cryptid.
That's right.
So that's awesome. Thanks, Johnny. And thanks, Nash, for getting that wrong.
Anytime.
We heard from Jake. Hey, guys. It's almost summer vacation time. And I didn't know if you had seen this. Knott's Berry Farm in Bueno Park, California, just updated their River Rapids ride to include Bigfoot. Now you can guarantee the kids will get to see Frank on vacation.
What?
Love the show. Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I took
That's
a
cool.
picture. Yeah, like, it's one of those river rides like we have here at Hershey Park. But yeah, they have Bigfoot. Little what do you call that? Animatronic.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, that's super cool.
Does it include the stench?
That would be awesome
Probably
if it did.
It's not much of a kid's ride, but that kind of
No.
stench going on. Daddy, I'm scared.
And he's like, oh, sorry, that was me.
Oh, no. Moving on fast. Big shout out to Mr. Jed Bryan. This is actually filmmaker Jed Bryan. He bought one of our Paranormal Punchers t-shirts on TeePublic. He said, just got my new shirt in the mail. Thanks for all the support you guys have shown Unlisted Owner. That's his movie, Unlisted Owner. You can get it on Amazon. It's a found footage horror slasher film. Jed is super cool. The movie is super fun. Jed, thank you so much for buying one of our t-shirts.
Thank you.
Thanks.
In blue.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the blue shirt, right? Yeah.
It looked
And he was
cool.
standing in front of his movie poster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He's mastered promoting
Nice.
both of us. I was like, that this should just be on a black shirt. But hey, the blue looked nice. Thanks, Jed.
You did.
A little chatter here before we move on from the Facebook group. Cheyenne had posted, So I have introduced my 3-year-old son to the Loch Ness Monster, and he is obsessed with Nessie. Parenting done right. And then Sarah jumped in. Sarah's from the UK. When I was a kid, there was a cartoon called The Family Ness on TV here in the UK. Used to see if you could find it on YouTube. Well, I found the theme song on YouTube, and I'm going to play it because it's pretty wacky.
Like two blows on his bagpipes, while Wilfred and Angus watch those notes go floating across the waves. Ferociousness appears at once and grabs an old road for lunch. The family nest is not too far behind. For she has over him, upside down and life again. And the beautiful loveliness shows she's the kid.
Wow.
She has cleavage.
Yeah. Huh. How do you know Loch Ness doesn't have cleavage?
Right.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. It's funny. The one dude's playing bagpipes, and the notes are floating over the loch, and then Loch Ness comes out and starts eating the notes.
Eating the notes, huh?
That's fine. I've never heard of that. That's really cool that there was a kids cartoon about
Right?
the family Ness.
I have to say, I am curious. Did she introduce the kid actually to Nessie or to the concept of Nessie? 'Cause if she introduced the kid to Nessie, seriously, invite me over. I want to meet Nessie too.
I'd like an
you mean
invitation.
holding the kid up on the edge of the lock, and then Nessie shows up. What's up? Yeah, introduce me.
Yeah.
I think to the idea of
Yeah.
Not like on a pole, like with that movie Dragon Slayer, where they lash him to a pole for the dragon.
Well, I
to
don't
come
think
by.
it's supposed to be traumatizing for the kid. It's more of like, Nessie's a gentle giant, and just like Frank is, and
Okay.
I want to meet Nessie.
Oh, boy.
and to wrap this part of the show up, we're gonna. What's so funny? We're gonna finish from something from Gabriel. And this was in reference to a post I made about this haunted amusement park in West Virginia.
Okay.
This place it's an abandoned amusement park. It was built on a desecrated Native American burial ground. This thing has haunted all over. I think there was a little girl that died there.
What?
I mean, this thing seems crazy. But I posted about road trip, but he said we could hit up Sheep Squatch, Flatwoods Monster, Mothman, and the creepy amusement park all in one trip. All we need is a bus, beer, beef jerky, and some adult supervision.
No, the last.
Yeah, I was gonna say not so much on that last one. The first couple, yeah.
See, now, Gabriel, thank you. And yes, that would be amazing. And that leads me to an idea we have about filming the podcast and meeting up with some awesome people to investigate some stuff in West Virginia.
Right.
I think it'd be cool. It'd be like what do you call that? Like a kind of not a documentary, but hey, you've seen it out there. It's like Ghost Adventures, but it would be us.
Right.
I just think that'd be super fun. It turns out Nash is a little camera shy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, we could convince him to do this.
Yeah.
Does everybody out there think we should do this? I think it'd be fun
I think so.
to make a little video. When I say video, I'm talking like feature length, like 86 minutes. I think that'd be awesome.
Feature length has gotten a lot shorter since
Oy.
I remember.
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, feature length is like 2.5 to 3 hours.
Well, no. It actually, I remember it always being like an hour 45 to 2 hours. So 86 minutes
I
seems very
thought
short.
to count as a feature length movie, it had to be 86 minutes to get into a festival.
Well,
as
it
a
probably
feature length.
does, but that just seems short.
I could be
Like,
wrong. I know there's definitely some filmmakers that listen. Jed.
Inside movies here at Paranormal
Mr. Jim
Hunters.
Ryan, he could probably educate us on that. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for submitting feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Just go to our website. You'll find a form to submit feedback, or just go paranormalpunchers@gmail.com. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing till we move on to the Dulce Base. Since I just talked about our idea for a little video, I'd like to see if everybody's interested in this idea of us doing a extra content podcast where we play D&D, but instead of D&D characters, we're going to set it in the Paranormal Punchers world. So
I think that'd be fun.
yeah. So it could be members of the Paranormal Punchers group, say in Seattle, that have to go on a mission.
Yep.
They run into Sasquatch. They could run into an alien. They could run into a
Right.
reptilian overlord.
Yep.
extra content. We think it'd be fun because we like to play D&D.
Yep.
And we like to do this podcast.
And there's a few good breweries up there, too, so we could hit some breweries, get some good pizza and good coffee.
So would you listen to something like that? Let us know by going to our website and fill out that form.
Yeah, let us know. That'd be great.
All right, guys. Are you ready to dive into this? Dave, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk about the Dulce Base. I'm going to give you some quick, brief notes on it, and then we're going to turn it over to Lish to get the whole thing rolling. What? She's my go-to. She's the most prepared. So...
And probably the best speaker out of all four of us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dulce Base is located in New Mexico near a little town called Dulce. Now, that is also Spanish for sweet. Just a little fun fact there.
Sweet.
This base supposedly is an alien and human joint base where they do all kinds of crazy experiments. We're talking about experiments on kidnapped men, women, and children.
Yep.
Making alien-human hybrids, mind control.
Celine Dion.
Yeah. So this is going on. Get out of here, Celine Dion.
Yeah.
So this underground facility is like 7 levels of craziness. You got some levels that are security-based, and you got experimental-based. Then you got deep storage of humans, which I can assume is for later experiments.
Yeah.
Now, we'll dive deeper, but I'm going to turn it over to Lish to really get this conversation started.
All right. So the Dulce Base is supposedly under the Archuleta Mesa, which is on the Colorado-New Mexico border. Right outside the town of Dulce, New Mexico. It is supposed to be the largest reptilian and gray alien base in America. I'm not really sure, how the aliens and the humans kind of combine to have this joint compound.
I know.
Do you? Okay.
Not yet.
Well.
Okay, not yet.
See, we gotta build up because I want to talk about the reptilians so much.
Yeah. But yeah, they're conducting experiments there, cloning, mind control, crossbreeding between animals, humans, aliens, chip implantation. Wow, I couldn't say that. Abduction, and then also the aliens are also feeding off of us.
Ooh.
So.
Right. One of the things they do, body parts.
Yeah.
They're
chowing down.
We're the cattle.
Yeah.
For this species, for these aliens.
Silence.
Sorry.
I know we had to ponder that for a minute. Yeah.
Well, I have a reference back, but we'll wait.
Okay. So, yeah, you mentioned this, but there are 7 levels. There is a possibility there might be more than 7 levels, but we only know about the 7. Anything lower than 7 is obviously alien controlled. We just don't know about it. The aliens are primarily on 5 through 7. There might be some on level 4, but the first 3 levels are definitely all human. Mm-hmm. You have to have a certain level of clearance to get to each of the levels or whatever. So obviously level 1 is basic clearance. Mm-hmm. Not basic, but you know what I mean. The minimal one. And then, the very lower, you have to have full ultra clearance to get through. But,
Lish had to turn away from the microphone to burp or something.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's that dead silence that I'm not going to cut out.
Sorry. There's also a tube system that connects the different...
there's an inner waterway?
No.
For tubing?
No.
That sounds awesome. Like a lazy river inside this place?
No. So there's a tube system that goes
Wouldn't that be awesome?
See the sectoids just...
goes to other bases. And apparently, in the world, there's 1,477 underground facilities.
Wow.
And in the United States alone, there's 129. So these are all connected, I believe, through these interconnected tube systems or whatever.
Can anybody guess what is 270 miles away?
No.
Which direction?
Yeah.
Northeast
From this base?
from this base.
Las Vegas.
No. It's literally a 2.5 hour drive.
Los Alamos.
Nope. NORAD.
Oh.
NORAD is in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And it's the nearest base, and everybody knows that the front door to NORAD. Have you guys ever seen images of the front door of NORAD?
Yeah, it's a mountain.
It's a mountain.
Yeah.
You drive into the mountain. So, yeah. Cool. So as the crow flies northeast of this, about 250, 270 miles, that's where NORAD is. And if you look at like the overhead map of this, so you're kind of in a cave system, and that's all Rocky Mountains right there.
Okay.
But that's where the rivers that go up through Colorado and whatnot, or come down from Colorado anyway. NORAD's right there.
Now, let me take it back to how we even have information to talk about.
Right.
There's a couple people that brought things to light. I'm going to just talk first about Thomas Castillo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wrote what they call the Dulce Papers. But anyway, I guess he was an engineer in the Army, and he was tasked to go out here, and they drilled 4 holes. He said that whenever you're going to build an underground facility, you start with drilling 4, I guess, pillar holes. And then once you get down there, you can start drilling cross holes, and you can start to get,
Right.
I guess, supplies down there to build. But anyway, they had drilled these 4 holes. They were having some issues with equipment breaking and stuff that wasn't going. You know, they were like, "What's happening?" So he was lowered down into this hole. You know, in a cage off a lowery thing.
like a mining elevator kind of a thing. Yeah.
But he
Or a lowering thing. It's what they call it.
He was going down the tube, the hole they drilled, and it broke into this cavern area. He said it smelled awful, and he saw 2 7-foot tall, what he could only describe as aliens. You know, the Greys. They were like 7 feet tall. He was like, "Holy crap!" Got his pistol out, managed to load a clip, fired off, shot and killed the one. And then I think he hit the other one, but the alien, he said it did something over his chest with his hand motion, and then shot a blue beam out, hitting him almost like lightning because it fried off his toenails.
That's a weird thing specifically to fry off.
Yeah. And I guess in the basket was also an Army Ranger or Special Forces with him that pushed him out of the way and fired on the other alien, and then they got hoisted back out. So that it's like the Army sent this squad to go, we're going to still building a base.
Right.
Because the aliens were already there on the ground. They knew, I feel like they knew about it. They were living down there, which we'll get to more because reptilians, things like that. But Lish, Nash, Dave, you guys have anything on this Thomas Castillo?
Well, actually, I read that it was Philip Schneider that experienced that. So
That's funny.
Yeah. Because he's also another one.
Oh, wait, no, I got that mixed up.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Phil.
That was
Phil.
Phil.
Alone. I'm getting Thomas Castillo and Phil mixed
Because
up.
he was a security officer.
Yeah.
He was a security dude.
Yeah, Thomas.
Right.
Okay.
For everybody listening, my bad. I just told you Phil's story.
Yeah. But he also...
Everything's accurate on this show.
Right. When the alien shot at him, apparently it took off a couple fingers, and I have written down a leg, but I'm not sure about that as well. But
You might be right because of, and we can get to what happened to him, his demise.
okay. So anyway, there was a
I didn't
battle.
mean that negative. It's suspicious as heck.
There was a battle that
Well, it's not positive either.
Yeah.
that ensued, and I believe that there were only 3 survivors out of the 60 men that were right there. So all of them pretty much died. And I think a lot of aliens also lost their lives as well. It was a battle. So I don't know why they're calling this the war, but
The Dulce War or whatever it was.
Dulce.
Whatever. Could be dual. Yeah, whatever.
But basically, after the battle, he basically dedicated himself to being a whistleblower and exposing the events that occurred during his time that was there. And I know a lot of the times when he was giving his speeches, He was like, he felt like he was being watched by the government, and he said that if anybody ever found out that, if they heard that he committed suicide, there's a possibility he might be murdered. And in 1996, he was found dead with the cord of a catheter wrapped around his neck.
Oh.
And it was labeled as suicide.
Yeah, he was found face down in his wheelchair.
With his catheter
So that's why I was
cord?
wondering, like, did he, the injuries he sustained from this alien blast? Yeah, but there was some shenanigans also, like, when they found, didn't they say first there was that he had a stroke?
Yeah.
But I watched this video on YouTube where Phil was talking about some of his other people that he met through this process of exposing this Dulce Base. Other people talking about the aliens that they were found also dead and always being labeled as suicide. And he's like, I knew these people.
Yeah.
And I call BS on that.
Was his catheter cord still attached?
It was tied around his throat. Never mind.
I don't know.
I know exactly where you're going.
Because that would be really painful in every way.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh my gosh,
But-
that's like the worst thing to kill yourself with.
No. Obviously,
killed
it's
with.
Or be killed with. Right. But I guess it is. It's not a terribly strong cord. It's just a tube.
No, but I don't know how it was tied. I mean, obviously it was tied in like a knot or something, right? But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how strong the tube is. I mean,
Yeah.
They're not super strong. It's like a tube when you draw
it's
blood
plastic.
out. It's the same like when you draw blood.
Yeah,
It's the
but
same
no,
kind of-
it was
they're usually
labeled. It was
thicker.
labeled a suicide. How? I just don't think you could take your catheter tube out,
oh,
tie it
God,
around
the
your
idea
neck,
is just-
and that's going
ugh.
to work. Obviously, some assassin came in
Oh,
yeah,
and then tried to make it look like this, but it was like
right.
that's terrible.
now. Phil was one of the people that believed that these aliens that when they drilled through the hole in that cave, they've been underground for like 400 to 500 years.
Yeah.
Now, that's because there's stories of the reptilians being here since the dawn of man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Living underground, I don't know why. The Slee Stacks, they lived underground, right? In Land of the Lost?
Did they?
I don't know.
I thought they lived. Well, I guess they lived in caves. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and then they came out to harass people.
harass and harangue the mammals. Yeah, I mean, I came across what I had was this Thomas Castillo,
Yeah.
Okay.
the security officer guy. Now he said that because he was in security, there was a whole list of stuff that he had seen or. Well, one particular part of his job was to go to various areas of the base and align security monitoring cameras when it's necessary. This afforded him the opportunity to venture out and witness things that would really stagger the imagination. I love that phrase. Later, he reported laboratories that investigated the following: aura, energy field of humans, astral spirit body voyaging and manipulation, psi studies. As in psionic powers.
Right. All the list of experiments they were doing
They're
is from
huge.
Thomas Castillo.
Yeah.
His papers.
Yeah.
I can't believe I messed up the story.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why I was like,
so
oh
dead,
man,
there's so much.
Right. Brain recognition, acquisition, and transfer, matter manipulation.
Yeah.
Matter manipulation, that's like Star Trek beaming from one place to another, I would
See,
imagine.
one thing of interest is the gene splicing or the genetic, modifying
Embryonic
human
cloning.
and grays. Because I came across something talking about, when the Anunnaki, or is it the Dakari? How do you pronounce it? The lizard people, when they came here, the Earth's surface wasn't that inhabitable for them.
Right.
So over time, they were doing gene splicing to make a better version of themselves so they can live on our planet.
Now, back earlier when we were talking about the Hollow Earth, one of the theories that I think I came up with, just kind of crazy like, was that we were basically the cattle for the people of the inner Earth, of the Hollow Earth. And that kind of goes along with what we found in this research, was that we were food. We're basically cattle for food. For the
Or
reptilian.
experiments.
Yeah, to experiment on. And
Is it draconians is the word I was trying to say. Is it because they like to eat humans?
well, if they're reptiles, that's what they like to eat. They're cold blooded. They need mammals.
And I found that because they are the reptilian overlords, the Greys are actually their servants.
Yes.
Yet Greys are the ones that do what you hear so many reports about being abducted and experimental. It's always described as these Greys, but they're just,
the Greys
sounds like they're doing the bidding.
Yeah, they're the worker bees, I think, for them. So, they're the ones that are going out and abducting people. Like,
And
that's who
they're
you see.
a hybrid of the reptilians.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't get that. I thought they
came
were
across
working in
that,
tandem.
too.
That
You can go
boy.
silly weird on the
Yeah.
internet looking stuff up. That's something there.
Really?
wow, that's amazing. But
I'm not saying everything's accurate.
No.
I'm just saying you can find some you can find theories.
Yep.
But that would kind of explain why they ended up going to. There was the battle, the revolution, the war between the two of them, between the reptilians and the Greys. Is that the Greys would make sense? It would get fed up, and they're like, "Yo, we're out of here." You know.
Well, not everything's stable at Dulce.
Right.
Like the humans and the aliens, they're in constant skirmishes and battles. Like it's not like
it's a tense
it's not
area.
harmonious. at
Right,
all.
No.
right. They're like the Klingons and the humans in the same area. They're just not, Now this is original series episodes, not the new stuff. So.
Now, in 1975, there was a New Mexico State Police trooper that his name was Gabe Valdez. He found a lot of cattle mutilations going on in the area. Not only did he find these cows, he also found gas masks and glow sticks that were near the mutilations.
What kind of glow sticks?
I
Like
don't
from
know.
a rave?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Were they like the skinny ones you put on around your kid's neck when you're trick or treating, and they give them to the firefighters, or the rave kind, or are they like?
I don't know. It just says glow sticks. But in one of the dead cows, he found a fetus, but it wasn't a calf fetus.
How would you find that?
It must have been open. I don't know.
Well, they
don't open.
They would do an
No, but
they would
maybe
do
it
an
was-
autopsy if it
yeah.
looked like what happened to this cow. We need to
Right.
inspect it.
Anyway, Nash. Anyway,
No, I'm sort of with Nash here. Like, there's a dead cow on the road. The first thing I'm going to check is the uterus to see what I find.
Check for fetuses.
okay, so it was mutilated. So there's a good possibility it was already cut open, boys.
Right. Okay.
All right. Anyway, the fetus was not a calf fetus. It looked like a human, a monkey, and a frog.
Yeah, but that's what small mammals look like anyway.
Well, it didn't have any bones.
Maybe, maybe not.
I was like, Dr. Nash, please tell us more.
I know.
Tell us
please.
more. What was that? A
Anyway.
human, a monkey, and a what?
Frog.
A frog.
It gets you a little reptilian.
That's
DNA.
so that's the mix right there.
So what he was theorizing is that these cows, they weren't, they were just incubating these babies.
Is it a plural of
hybrid
fetus?
baby.
These experiments.
Yeah,
that the aliens were up to,
basically. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of room in those cows.
But also, after he found the carcass and he talked to people about it, he found listening devices in his home. So,
Oh, it wasn't in the cows though.
no.
Okay.
Well, that was in 1973.
75.
1979, this dude named Benowitz. He's the one that started picking up. I don't know if he was like what he was doing. He was picking up radio signals. He was a ham operator. I can't remember, but he was picking up signals that he was saying that it was from like alien communications between ship and aliens. He came out about that. And I think that set a lot of things off about the Dulce Base then from that on out.
Yeah, I think he was like the first one that really kind of got it out there. People started talking about it, I think.
So,
after
yeah,
he
that
said
was like
this, but-
1979. He started picking up signals. By
Yeah.
1980, he was convinced that there was a base underground in
yeah.
Dulce.
No, and he even theorized that the conversation was going from the base underground all the way up to different ships that might have been in the upper atmosphere. Okay.
I'm wondering how, if you were reptilian overlords, how would you kind of enslave UFOs? You know, aliens from outer space. Because if they're
Mind control.
but how do we even know their mind?
They're
Do you know what I mean? Because they're alien. They're completely alien. I don't know. I would see it as maybe they were sneaky, or they were better negotiators, or
Well, if the reptilian overlords can shapeshift, they can just they can make themselves
and
look
manipulate
like,
behind the scenes.
But I
Or the-
feel like the Greys are either manufactured by the reptilians or overtaken to the point of you officially work for us for the rest of eternity.
okay.
Right.
Or the reptilian overlords came from those planets. They were the original scouts. They're the leaders. They're the explorers. The intrepid.
Oh.
Yeah. And when they get here,
already
they knew that there was work underway to create these worker bees that would be their servants when they were arrived.
They were already kind of conscripted to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. I'm following you. Pick up what you're putting down.
If the aliens are doing experiments, splicing human DNA with their DNA, do you think there's anybody running around
Yes.
X-Men style?
No.
That's like mutated and has powers?
Well, there was escapees there's people that escaped the giant war that are unaccounted for that are out there.
Yeah.
And this was in 1975.
And I feel like people have talked about the experiments that are down there. They're hybrids between animals and aliens and humans, and they're looking at paranormal like abilities. Like they're trying to find a way to have this crazy stuff come out.
I think there has to be, especially if there's been escapes. I mean, we pulled up this map, and on the map there was an open shaft for an elevator where aliens could fly their ships into,
Yep.
and then there was like a tram. There was an underground, the shuttle. I mean,
It's a shuttle,
yeah.
it's a shuttle. I mean, why not? I mean, you can get on the tram all kinds of ways.
Well, I mean, yeah. So I have a bunch of different theories here. Number one, the tram, this interconnecting thing goes right through Hollow Earth for all of this. I mean,
Right.
you have plenty of space to work with to interconnect everything, and shortest distance between all these bases. The 100 or so in the U.S. and the 1,000 or so or I forget what the count was. You said,
Yeah.
and right there, use Hollow Earth for all of that. Well, who are in the Hollow Earth? Reptilian overlords.
Right.
So that's right there. The
That's
other
the hub.
right. The other part of this is exactly what was described of we're lowering people down there and they're going to see things that aren't normal. In this case, they have firearms and they fight back. But what other thing did we talk about a hole where weird things were coming out of, and we lower people down in there?
Right.
And
Hoska Castle.
Hoska Castle. So
Hoska.
what if this whole thing was what Hoska Castle was, except there in Middle Ages they didn't have the
Right.
weapons to
Right.
fight back.
Right.
So it was a one-time and we're done, and we're just going to build a castle over top to protect it or to keep them out. Here we had weapons that could actually at least match, if not overpower. So, let's come into a unholy alliance here and start working together,
Right.
humans. And
Dave, I got something for you.
Yeah.
In my research, as I mentioned, the Draconians.
Yeah.
They're even the most superior, the reptilian overlords. Guess what they have on their back? Wings.
Nice.
So if the people of
wings.
Huska back then were seeing
Right.
what they thought
Right.
flying
Yeah.
demons, it could have been
Yep.
these Draconians.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Bam.
I just thought of this whole tram thing, and I'm looking at this map that we have here, and I'm thinking, what if these aliens or the Greys that are coming down are getting enslaved by the reptilian overlords? What if they're not like explorer aliens? What if they're like just tourists? And this is like a tourist stop. So this tram goes through the Hollow Earth. It goes from area to area, and you can see the sights. You can see what's happening. Like whenever we do experiments, we always have like the top brass for the military come and view and observe these experiments. Something like that. They come down. They view the experiments that are happening. Then they get on their tram and they kind of check things out. They go through the Hollow Earth. They're like, oh yeah, there's the hub. Snap a few little alien pictures. Go to the next site. Go to this and hit like 3 or 4 different sites and take off. But the overlords kind of keyed into it, and they're like, yo, you're here now. You're working for us. And we've kind of ostracized them. And they're really just wanting to be tourists and take some pictures and bring in the kids.
Well, maybe not tourists, But it is military.
Yeah.
So they're checking out how's our base doing,
Yeah.
Right.
how's the experiments going, and they use, of course, the shuttles take them to the next stop on their laboratories. This planet could be one giant experiment,
Right.
for these aliens, and they want to see what's the progress, how's it going.
And in every not every movie, but anytime there's like, I just watched some movie where there was a genetic manipulation and there was a science team behind it. The science team was always the ones who were getting killed. Usually the people that lived on was the experiment or the person, some security officer, and these are the scientists coming in to help out. They're going from one side to another, and the reptilian overlords are like, yeah, we got you. You're working for us now.
Right.
And they got pissed off, and that's what generated that war.
I like how you say when things go down, sometimes it's the experiment that survives.
Right.
Lives.
Exactly.
Okay, so there are people that say that have seen Bigfoot around there that say
Right.
Bigfoot has come from the Dulce Base.
Right.
So this base is right there at the Apache Reservation, and I saw this video. It was actually a news report. They were just talking to some people that lived out there, talking about the absolute weird stuff they see around there. The UFOs in the sky,
Right.
Bigfoot. They found, of course, footprints, Bigfoot, and they believe that Bigfoot, came from that base experiment.
But the tram going to other sites, like if there's a site in West Virginia, or that would explain also
How they could get what?
other stuff that would come out of other sites, all from basically the same source.
Well, as massive as the cave system is with Mammoth Caves in West Virginia, you could.
you could have
You could shuttle it all the way from New Mexico.
there could be 5, 10 sites, 20 sites in between, one in each state.
Right.
Supposedly, there's a whole inner working of tunnels
Yeah.
Right.
across the globe. Almost you could take the idea of the hollow earth as it's not actually hollow in the center. Like those little drawings from old-timey.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
The Captain Bird
I'm
drawings.
just trying to see if I can get any details about hollow earth from you.
Yeah.
But the hollow earth principle could also be like all these tunnels interconnected.
Right.
There's this whole world
Right.
going on. It's not, like...
Right.
the
And
theory that it's hollow with lakes and mountains and a internal sun. Hollow part is all the tunnels that connect all the civilizations.
Right.
Yeah, from one hub to the other. I mean, any major corporation has multiple hubs for each part and satellite hubs and whatnot, and this is just it. This is just one of the satellite
I
hubs.
definitely think there could be a giant network of tunnels
Oh, yeah.
inside the Earth that the Greys or the reptilians use to just get around.
Well, and if you think about it too, how many on the last episode or the episode before we said how many oddball things are coming from West Virginia. Some of them have a lot of things happening in a tight area.
Right.
What if that's
Good spot to shove an experiment up. Like send it up on a little tube to the surface.
Exactly.
And let's see what happens.
What if underneath that is one of the
You're
little
telling me
mini...
they're all coming from...
Well, that would explain every chupacabra that we've heard about. That would
I don't think there's any been chupacabras in West
no,
Virginia.
but there could be one in New York. There could be one.
Chupacabra in New York?
It could be one.
Copyright that. We're making that movie.
This happened in Mexico. The zone of silence, New Mexico. Zone of silence was in Mexico.
Right.
Why wouldn't they be connected?
Right.
Why wouldn't there be one in Arizona, one in
Yeah, and if you take it from the point of the reptilian overlords need heat.
Yeah.
If the reason they're incompatible with Earth's climate is because they need warmth,
Yeah.
well, the center of the Earth, the tunnels would provide them that. It would be warmer than normal, and then they would need some sort of hybridization with humans for surface dwelling.
Right.
And
I really like that idea, too.
He's pointing
That's
at us.
why I pointed at everybody. We were just talking about the Flatwoods Monster, the Sheep Squatch. That's why sometimes they're
messed
the
up.
reports are only from like the certain time period, and then they go away for a while because they just they tubed
They're rejects.
They tubed a creature to the top. No, they shot it through a tube, monitored it, and then when it was time, the experiment was over. Got the creature, took it back down.
Right.
Yeah. See
And,
how
and,
it,
and
how
put
it
its report
survived.
together and gave the report to the head reptilian.
Yeah.
And then maybe 10 years later, like, let's tweak our monster and send it back up.
Right.
So everything, I like that.
Yep.
Well, because that would explain the different species that are close to Bigfoot. We have down in Florida, they've got the skunk ape, but in the Pacific Northwest, that would explain the differences between the two, which are specific in the region that they're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in Arizona, I mean, you've got it explains so much. There just needs to be satellite hubs underground.
Yeah.
And a nice tram system. Probably with drinks on board, too, and food.
Yeah, okay.
I would imagine. Maybe like traveling business class.
What do you think of the idea that when the reptilians landed here at the dawn of man and the planet wasn't conducive for them, they started doing some experiments and refining their offspring? That
So they could more adaptable to
yeah. So
our
do
planet.
we have reptilian blood in us?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe we're the base model that we're slowly modifying. We're like
Right.
the horse of the prehistoric
And
era.
what if we're all sleeper cells and they can just turn us on?
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's why we like steak so much.
Okay.
Yeah, mammals. And some of us are always cold. And then some of us run warm, some run cold.
Yep.
Some people run cold all the time, right, Alicia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
What's
I'm gonna tell
happening
you what.
here on Paranormal Punchers?
With that thought, we're going to take a break, ponder what Nash just said, and we'll be right back. Nash, what is like the one thing that could go wrong on a paranormal investigation?
Why, Mark? That's the lack of food.
People are putting in their backpack a EMF detector, a flashlight,
Yeah.
a digital recorder, but if you forget that snack, your whole evening could be ruined.
That's exactly right.
So, if you head over to mfjerky.com, you can order some delicious beef jerky. And if you use our code, SpookyJerky15, you can save 15% on your order. And it's a big savings. That way, when you're out doing an investigation, you're not going to worry about hunger pains. Your stomach's not going to growl and mess up a possible EVP.
Right, right.
And like we like to say here, Moses Family Jerky, the best thing to pack on your paranormal or normal adventure.
Oh my God. Honey, look, it's Bigfoot.
No way. Let's go say hi. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot, what you reading?
You can call me Frank, and I'm reading the Paranormal Punchers comic book.
Paranormal Punchers?
Yeah, it's about a group of podcasters that get themselves in all kinds of paranormal trouble. It's like Scooby-Doo meets the X-Files, and it's hilarious.
Sounds great. Where can we get a copy?
Just head over to paranormalpunchers.com where you can find a comic book and all kinds of merchandise.
Thanks, Mr. Bigfoot. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, and look out for that bear.
And we're back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the second half of the show. I hope you're having fun so far. I know I am. Went down, what do you call that, like a rabbit hole of just weird ideas and concepts of what could be going on.
We're not done with the
Hollow
rabbit
Earth
hole
hole.
then.
Yeah, it's all about it. It really does lead back to the Hollow Earth. Lish, I know you had more things you wanted to tell everybody.
I do. So in that area, there's a lot of UFO sightings. I have quite a few, but I'll just bring out a couple that were actually pretty amazing. So there was a delta-shaped dark object emitting a bright light. This was after the sun had set. And there was like 75 people. They were at this campground celebrating. It was a traditional Jicarilla Apache feast. It's more like a coming out feast for young boys and girls, similar to
It's a party.
yeah, it's like a big celebration,
Like a bar
anyway.
mitzvah almost.
Yeah, so there was all these people out, and this huge object just kind of appeared and started going across the sky, like slowly. But it was emitting this like crazy light. And they were saying it was only about 200 feet above them.
That's not very far up.
No. But yeah, the entire area lit up like daylight. And after it was hovering for a few minutes, it just took off with this like tremendous gust of wind. People were like blown off their cars. Like it was crazy. But also their generators weren't working anymore. And then all battery operated things were not working anymore, like car radios and stuff like that. So that was crazy. But that's just one of the different experiences that I found. There was one, a forest service ranger, I'm sorry. He witnessed a craft. It was coming closer to the Archuleta Mesa.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, it kind of opened up. These rocks opened up. The UFO went into the rocks and it closed back up. It was almost like a door.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So those were some weird things that were going around. But yeah, there was a bunch of other ones that I found. But
Huh.
Well, I find it interesting that 322 miles to the southeast is another little city,
yeah.
Roswell.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, at 300 miles, that would have been an approach vector. Mm-hmm. If they were trying to land here and, something went wrong on the approach.
Right.
Crash land in Roswell.
That's almost as far south as NORAD is north.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, almost.
Yep.
Almost.
And I mean, at that time, the U.S. hadn't established a base with the aliens, but the aliens would have still been shuttling their...
They'd have been there.
Right.
I was thinking about, some of the things that were happening in the base, and one of the things that I had come across was that they were doing, now it took me a minute to kind of wrap my brain around it, but it was rapid human body replicating by use of energy matter transfer, and then also completing that body, that like Miracle Grow body, with individual memories from a neural net, computer memory banks. So basically they were quick growing people with the memories of people.
That's Westworld.
Yeah, basically. And so, but those people, what would you do with those people other than, would you do anything else besides implant them into society?
Right.
Well, one thing, I don't know if we mentioned this, but supposedly one of the very lower level of these set, they have a cold storage where they have clones or humans.
You think they
Just
get it
hanging
mixed
in
up?
pods in some type of green goo liquid, supposedly.
Like Matrix style almost.
So they can make these clones like Westworld, but if they had to decommission or just don't need to use them yet, they can put them down there in cold storage, keep them alive with the
Right.
goo.
Right, and then like activate them as they grab somebody and put them down there, and then that person, the real person, could have his memory dumped out onto some computer net,
Right.
implanted into the clone that's already been programmed to do
So
whatever
literally,
else.
they could replace any of us
Yep.
Right.
when they feel it's necessary for their greater plan.
Right. Or even more vile evil is to take some consciousness that is the prime consciousness. Well, and as that human body ages and it can no longer be the president or the prime minister
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Oh, transfer it to another body and now that gets elected and
Right.
continue that
Continue the thought process and the manipulation.
Okay.
and yeah.
And basically, all they have to do with the other human bodies, keep it in cold storage until everybody gets hungry, and then they feed it to the people, to the lizard people.
The cold storage could literally be their,
It's a refrigerator.
their farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be growing.
On one side is
produce.
farm, the other is cold storage for fridge. They keep it right next to the beer. Here's the arms. Here's some legs and thighs. Whatever you'd like. It's a buffet.
I wonder why they want to eat us.
I don't know.
I think we'd taste pretty good to those people,
We
to
might.
reptilian overlords. I don't know.
Makes me think about being vegan.
That's right. Just all the more reason to stay away from cows because they could have really human monkey fetuses,
They're
whatever.
genetically modified, so if you're eating that, they could be putting stuff
Right.
into you for the mind control.
Right.
No, I'm just making that up. Nobody yell at me for talking about,
I will say
not
though,
making any statement.
you got to be careful with the vegan approach though, because grass-fed beef really tastes better than the eating all the artificial crap. So,
Right. Oh, but also even vegetables are subject to like Monsanto spraying down the fields with their
That's
bug
right.
killer and things like that. Everything
Right.
could be.
And they're caramel
They
coloring.
got us every other and caramel color.
Son of a gun.
They got us every way you look.
That's right. That's right. Just everybody, don't eat anything. That's it. There you go. New advice from Paranormal Punchers.
What if they hear this podcast?
Yeah.
The only thing you're allowed to ingest.
Next thing you know, like Dave's chatty.
That's right.
He's just talking way more than he usually does.
The only thing you
Has
can
he been
drink
replaced?
that's like a meal is beer.
Now, if I was replaced, I would be recording everything.
Who's to say you're not?
Yeah.
I'm doing it for you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Remember, the only thing you need to be a good overlord is give the perception of free will.
That's right.
And once you've given that perception, then people don't feel like they need to fight back because they have, quote unquote, free will.
So if anybody out there sees any large stone garage doors and you're kind of in the New Mexico, Colorado border and some large like clamshell garage doors opening,
Right.
just let us know when it happens. So take some pictures because that's the garage door for the aliens to get in
Right.
there. That's right.
I would love to have a garage like that.
Yeah.
That'd be like right out of like Batman, right?
Yeah.
You roll out
Yeah.
from the side of a mountain.
Like,
Nobody knows where your secret lair is.
The X-Men had the basketball court for the
I mean, oh my god. I mean, it takes a lot of money to build that.
Maybe.
That's why the
Maybe.
reptilian overlords can do it.
They have all the materials.
I want to circle back to a question I asked you, Nash, and for you guys also.
Sure.
But if they are doing these hybrids, they're making alien-human hybrids,
Right?
You hear things, reports of people doing like extraordinary physical things,
Yeah.
like in times of stress.
Right.
You know, a mom being able to pick a car up enough to get her kid out,
Right.
things
Right.
like that.
Competitive eating. Right.
And competitive eating, like being able to eat like 100 hot dogs in an hour.
I see,
What was
right.
that? Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, man.
Boom.
He's a mutant.
Do you think is it possible that if they are doing these experiments, we will see an age of what we would interpret as superheroes?
Maybe. I take it as a diluting of the pool. So you've got like like an alpha person, or what do they call it with a disease? The main source of a disease.
Oh, yeah.
Patient zero.
Patient zero. You have test subject zero that comes out that is now trying to seed as many situations. So the offspring won't have as strong of a mutation as patient zero, and then it dilutes a little bit every single time. But it's more widespread, and you get more patient zeros throughout the country. Then you have these oddball abilities and mutations that are now mixing with other mutations. Like I'm from Arizona, my wife's from Pennsylvania, 2 different bases entirely. So maybe our son has, you know what I mean? He has a confluence of different mutations. Who knows?
Begs the question, if humans have lived at the top of the food chain for so long without really a lot of natural selection to take
Right.
us out,
Right.
if we've hit evolutionary peak and therefore the reptilian overlords, by introducing mutations via
Right.
crossbreeding, are the ones who are evolving the species rather than the human race as itself.
Right.
Maybe.
Other than natural selection
Right.
doing it on its own, they're forcing the mutations.
Yep.
Quite possibly. Who knows where it ends?
Yep.
You bet.
On the other side, I do think that if that's not the case, and this is happening, I don't think that the humans who have those mutations know that they're there. I think they need to be activated. That's why it's times of stress or pure adrenaline or something that activates them. And that we won't hit an age of superheroes unless the reptilian overlords activate it, such that it's now a always present type of thing. Or if we're in such a bad state where like say the human race is suddenly endangered, we have an asteroid heading towards us, or we know about the reptilian overlords and we decide we're going to fight back, we're now in a full-on state of stress. Everyone who's been mutated activates at once, and now we have superheroes.
Right.
But we do have people out
It's a
there
Mr.
with
Glass approach.
Yeah. We do have people out there with special abilities. Some
What
are-
if we're one?
We should go jump off a building to see if we...
Oh,
Whoa! I'd say try to curb first, but
What would you want for your superpower?
I already know what my superpowers are.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Oh, I already have them. I'm good.
But if you think about it,
The ability to do no research before the podcast.
That's right.
Still has something to say.
Right.
But think about like professional athletes, and so it happened to me once back in the day, back in like high school wrestling and whatnot, where you can be in an athletic situation or of high stress, then something happens to where your like time almost kind of slows a little bit, but you're processing faster. So you still see it as regular time, but everything's moving a little bit slower. It's only happened to me once, but supposedly that's what happens to runners, football players, athletes who are in situations to where your mind speeds up, your neurons fire faster. Oh. So that could be a glimmer of what we're talking about. That could be, it happens in, like you said, situations of high stress. So to where your brain is moving much, much faster than normal because it's brain plus massive amounts of adrenaline. Yeah.
Kind of like in first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
When he was just moving,
Where everything is...
He was the ability to move so fast that everything was so slow to him.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And it only happens for like, I mean, in my case, it only happened for like a split second. But it happened, and I finished, and I was like, wow, what was that? That was really odd. But it happens among a lot of much higher athletes than, or in other situations. I don't know. We might already have it.
To wrap this up, first and foremost, there's no hard evidence
No.
that
Right.
this base exists.
Right.
In fact, I don't know if it was because since I had their names backwards again, listeners, I apologize for screwing the names up. But it was either Thomas Castillo or or the other guy
Yeah, I think it was Castillo, but
that
I'm not
actually in a presentation used a screenshot or a piece of footage from an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
sure. Yeah.
And then I think people were like, "F this guy, discredited."
Right.
Maybe it was a shot. Remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Sixth Day, where he was like a clone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess in a presentation he had a shot from that movie just with the clone bodies. He probably was just doing it for effect.
Right.
Like I'm trying to paint a picture as I tell the story.
Right.
This way.
Right.
I don't know the guy. I'm not trying to
Just to illustrate a point.
yeah. I'm just wondering like.
But
Obviously, we'd have to know people would be like, yeah, that's a screen capture from that movie. But
Right.
he
Right.
probably was trying to illustrate a point. But people were like, called BS on the right way and said it's a hoax. This guy's a full crap
Right.
because of that. There really is no hard evidence. For me, I find the whole story extremely interesting. But I'm going to tell you right now, I 100% can buy into this theory because
Yeah.
I believe in aliens.
Right.
I definitely believe the government would work with aliens for their own good. Yeah. So, there's no hard evidence. I think a lot of these people have been discredited, also murdered.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody was coming out about this
Right.
base and other alien
Right.
bases. These people have... The one
yeah.
thing I watched on YouTube, was it Phil? Was talking about... that these people were all labeled as suicides, as I mentioned earlier. Little weird that everybody that was coming out about alien bases
Right.
were being
Yep.
were
No, and I feel like-
mysteriously they all committed suicide.
Yeah, and I feel like you had mentioned the other day that it's not out of the ordinary that because we've heard of underground bases that actually
No, they're legit, real.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can really say this is out of our realm,
Right.
because there is a possibility it's it could be true.
Right.
So
So what is, I mean, the actual ground level? Is it a military base? Like, could we go investigate the ground level or not?
I
Is it
don't know if
restricted?
they really have a ground level.
Well, I know level 1 is their security,
Right.
Because they
But
can't
like-
let you get
but
any
like,
lower.
On the
Oh,
picture,
no,
there's agricultural
no,
premises,
the-
and there's a ground level. It looks like a village.
I didn't find anything that would
No,
look like
you-
an
you
actual
don't see
entrance.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's all underground. And they might have like a barn
If
or
there's
something
an entrance,
above, but-
it's like very,
But like, you could go use
very Batman. You might not even know that's an entrance. to the Batcave.
seismological devices and like try to see what's below the surface.
Do you have access to those devices?
I can't give away my secrets.
Okay, because I would like to go check.
Yeah.
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 I mean, and if it's real, I'm pretty sure they're going to abduct us and put us in cold storage.
Well,
yes.
I mean, Area 51 we know is a base. Whether it, how secretive it is, we don't know. But nobody can go explore Area 51. This it sounds like if we found the location where it's supposed to be, we could explore. There's nothing restricted about it.
Well, I feel like the doors
you do
are...
know this is literally right out of our comic book, where we were exploring just to...
I feel like the doors are actually magnetic, so I imagine you have to have a badge or something to get in. Is my guess. I don't think you could just walk in.
You don't need no stinking badge.
Well, like with the front door to NORAD, it's just a big ass door.
Yeah.
You just not get in. They might have a guard a couple guards out front, but that's it. It's just a door in a mountain. So if there is a door, good luck finding it, and they're going to have it under surveillance up until.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. It's like hidden.
Yeah, there's a reason it's.
My fanny pack has a lot in it.
But what do you got? I mean, would you, if it would come out one day that it was real, would you be shocked, or you're like, yeah, of course?
I don't think I would be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, the way I see it is we have people who are sensitive to spiritual, being able to sense ghosts or things on the other side, kind of telepathy. We have all these different mutations that are becoming more and more frequent now.
Lactose intolerant.
Very intolerant. That's right. Could be a rejection of one of those mutations.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because I see these mutations. I don't see them, but we have people who are amazingly smart. So what if Stephen Hawking, his mind had been, not saying that it was because he's fantastic, but he was a really smart dude.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if he was bred? What if he was bred so that he was abnormally smart? Who knows?
I'm with you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's everything outside of the belt.
Know.
We don't. We just don't.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I believe in aliens. I definitely believe that this could be a possibility, but there's no hard evidence.
No.
Like Celine Dion.
So definitely, oh God,
Stop.
Maybe she is a
I'm
mutant.
telling
She's
you.
the first X-Men, but her ability was to sing
Right.
She's like Siren or Banshee.
like a siren. Yep. Oh, God.
See?
Go look this up for yourself if you're into this weird conspiracy theory, because that, at the end of the day, is what I think the Dulce Base is, a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not real.
Yep.
It's there. I mean, we saw the pictures of the boring equipment they used to bore the holes with the workers standing outside. So there's something there. There has to be something there. But is it housing what this is? Who knows?
Yep.
Wow, that was fun. We're going to move on now to listener stories. But I want to say this one more time. But if you have any opinions of us, never, ever hesitate to email us, paranormalpunchers@gmail.com, or just go to our website. Yeah, if you got any information that you'd like to share, especially if you're in the base right now and you want to
Cry for help, and you're picking this up.
Yeah. Cry for help. We'll come get you.
Schematics, how we get in. Yeah, don't hesitate to send them to us.
Right.
You think if they snack, what do they snack on? Do you think they like nip off like fingers at the above the knuckles or something, and they snack
Like
them?
little cheese puffs?
Yeah, like little cheese puffs, and they can fry them and whatnot.
Ew.
I don't know,
Dude,
I like to think we're the delicacy. We're not just snacks.
Right.
There's plenty of other things.
that we're the main course.
the main course, but only for formal dinners and stuff.
You know. But usually you cook a lot of hamburgers and you go back and you snack on one of them, or barbecue a bunch of chicken and you can snack
How
on throughout
did
the day.
we get to food again?
because Nash.
It's Dulce de Leche Base.
It's not Dolce.
At least he didn't bring up
Right.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
No, that's all powder. That's okay.
All right, we're going to jump into. We got two stories from some amazing listeners. So Nash and Lish, they got the brains on this. They're going to read some stories again. Thank you so much for sending us your stories. Lish, you're going to go first.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. I have Will.
Oh, if you remember, Will is our buddy from Missouri.
Yes.
Send us a couple stories, like 3 or 4 at this point.
Yeah.
Will, I hope you're doing well. And go ahead.
All right. Hey, guys. It's Will again. I thought you guys would want to hear about this creature my brother-in-law told me about. This creature is called the Rake Monster. It's been sighted all around Missouri, and actually a sighting in the 70s happened in a town called Vandalia, Missouri, which is 30 minutes away from where I live. So this story goes, this kid was on his way home from taking his buddy home. In the middle of the road was this creature. It was human-like, but completely hairless and white. It walked on all fours. When he stopped, it jumped up onto the hood of his car. The kid said he couldn't move. He didn't know if the creature was doing this or if he was frozen from fear. He was frozen for a few minutes, and the creature just looked at him. When the kid could finally move, he gunned it, and it didn't look back. When he got home, he saw the creature on the roof of his house. He chose to ignore it and went inside and went to sleep. Over the next few days, he kept seeing it. Now, at this point, I would like to note that I would have just went and got my gun to shoot it because I don't want a monster following me home. Right. Either way, he didn't do that, and he saw it all around the outside of his house for a week. After that week, he never saw it again and hasn't seen it since. Also, I would like to say that when I tried to research this creature, I found an article about another creature in Missouri and think you guys would like this one. They are called the space penguins, and here's the article. And he gave us an article, so I am assuming we're going to put that in the show notes, maybe.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, and you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Will. I agree with Will on one aspect. Like, if this weird rake monster, which we looked it up here as Lish was reading that, it's a very creepy looking thing.
Yeah.
If that's just hanging out in your house for a week, on your roof, I don't think you can ignore it.
No.
That's
Ignore it and go to sleep? No.
That's like get your gun. Get some rocks. Get something. Something. Get a rake. I don't care. Get something. Get that thing off your roof. That's disgusting.
And I'm going to look into that link he sent. But I already like the name Space Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm into that.
Yeah, a space penguin sounds fantastic.
Will, thank you so much. I hope you were doing well out there in Missouri and avoid the rake monster.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And we heard from Paul C.
So yes,
As in the letter C.
As in the letter C, not SCA. So Paul, he wrote us saying, "Hey guys, it's me again, the one who asked about the demon house. I'm writing you because I wanted to share my ghostly story that I encountered last month. Here we go." So he and his girlfriend had gone to bed that night. He got kind of started dreaming while he was sleeping. It says, "I was in one of those dreams that was going on around you, but you're still asleep," if that makes any sense at all. So you're still kind of in control of your dreams, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember laying there looking at my bedroom door. The next thing I knew, my girlfriend's father had come in. He started asking me questions about being a good boyfriend to his daughter and so on and so forth. It felt like it was a 5-minute conversation, then he left. Here's the crazy part. Her father's been passed away for about 2 years, and I never knew him. We, as in Paul and his girlfriend, met a few months after the father's passing. I've only seen pictures of him on the mantle. When I brought it up to her and her mother the next day, they started to giggle and say, "That's him, all right. He was always asking questions, questioning the new guy in the family." I said, "Anyway, that's my story. Keep up the great work."
Aw.
Thanks, Paul.
So father came to him in a dream state.
Yeah.
Making sure.
Yeah.
Take care.
Right.
Yeah.
Of my daughter.
That's what every father does with their kids, I guess. Make sure you guys
Even
stay
from
around.
the great beyond.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They can give you a little talk.
A little talk, a little protection. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Paul. And Paul, we're going to get to that Demon House
Yeah.
review.
Yes.
We're going to do that some extra content. The thing is, I'm sure you could hear, we have so many ideas
I know.
that we actually get in our own way of accomplishing anything. But we're planning on talking about that. If you'd like to share a story with us, paranormalpunchers@gmail.com. Just go to the website. Go to the Facebook group. Yes, there's a Facebook group. Join it. You could send us whatever. We'd love to hear from you. Why are you laughing, bro?
Just send us whatever, man.
Yeah.
Lish, any final thoughts on this episode?
No. This is a really interesting place. If it's real, I think that's amazing. If it's not real, it's a great story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nash.
I keep the more we talk, the more my mind keeps going back, mutations in people. And the fact that if you take those mutations in the area, but then they're not specific to the area because there's multiple bases. So any kind of mutation that they're going to be created is going to be dispersed among the entire country via these satellite hubs. That's pretty awesome. I'm kind of baking my noodle on that one.
Yeah.
Dave?
Well, number one is going to be back. Number two, the only thing, and this is me being anal about things, but if it's intentional genetic experimentation, it can't be mutations because mutation is a natural thing. This would be a genetic altering.
It's alterations.
Yeah, so we can't call them X-Men.
No.
They'd be like G-Men or something.
Okay.
But we have G-Men.
It can't be G-Men.
Right.
You remember that movie Cabin in the Woods
No.
where they had with Chris Hemsworth? You never saw that?
No.
You've never seen that movie? Anyway, they had all these monsters underground. They could shove one up depending on what the people chose above
Really?
the cabin. It kind of reminds me of that when we were talking about like Bigfoot or the
Right.
monster. Like they just had the ability, like, all right, bring up number specimen 11752, and then and just shut. I really like that. It would make a killer movie. Like I guess Cabin in the Woods kind of did that.
Right.
And that would
It could star
explain.
Chris Hemsworth.
That would be the Jersey
There's
Devil.
the key. This is going to be a great movie. We get Chris Hemsworth in it.
Yep.
And then up shoots the Jersey Devil, or
Played by Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
wow, or any of those like goat men that we talk about. Oh yeah, definitely.
Or Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Now we're all right. So the Jersey Devil, played by Chris Hemsworth, the Sheep Squatch
By Chris Pratt.
by Chris Pratt, and it's a road trip buddy comedy.
Oh, there you go.
Dude, come on, Universal Studios, Marvel, give me a call.
Give us a call.
Everybody wants to see that.
That's right. That's right. Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt. Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time since Hollywood put out a buddy road trip movie, right?
Well, I think that's what Guardians 3 is going to be, but
Okay. Well, we need to make it before that comes out.
yeah.
They're free. They probably already filmed it, so it should be good to go.
As always, we love you. Be safe. Take care. And Alicia, remember, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.